Hello there. It's Mike.
And Katie.
It's episode 211.
The Little Mermaid live action.
This week on Cup of Rad. Hey everyone, we're back. This week we've got a really condensed review. Not condensed.
Condensed.
Yes, condensed. Condensed. It's like condensed milk.
No,
it's
really
cup of condensed rad.
A condensed rad. It's focused, meaning
Focused.
We haven't really watched that many things. Because what did we realize we have been doing? We watched a lot of hockey.
There was
the hockey playoffs were on until all of our teams we cared about are gone now, and so we stopped watching.
And only the hockey teams that we don't like, or states that have hockey teams in them that we don't like,
that we can't support. Can't support them at all.
So
then we stopped watching hockey, and then
but it was hot.
Then it's been
hot.
So warm.
My balls was sweating. They were.
Are you done?
I'm adding like sound effects. It's like for the ADHD people, or the youth, the youngins. When it's like.
Okay, and we can stop.
Teen Titans episode.
Oh, good gracious! Weird sound effects in the background.
Those little pop-up heads, you can imagine them.
Oh, that sounds terrible. And then this is what happens: is then I lose all of my momentum.
Focused episode.
Yeah, I was way past that. I was talking about the reasons why we were having the focused episode.
It was hot. There was hockey.
And then we were playing Sims.
That's true, yes.
We've been co-building a dream house together and perfecting it in little details and trying out all sorts of things. But like a
simplified...
Well, yeah, so I had a crazy, insane mansion that was irritatingly huge because I couldn't play it because it was so big because I had to scroll across the screen in order to get to the other side of the house.
That's what you said.
It was so dumb. So this one is much more reasonable.
How big was it?
But we also... You know what? Can I virtually flip you off?
Those eyes are saying it.
Yeah. And I bought a couple new edition packs. One that was kind of like an LA neighborhood. So it was a Get Famous. So we bought the LA neighborhood so we can have the fancy Hollywood bling. And I'm so glad I got you decaf coffee. So I just came back. I went to a yoga class and she was playing it was a super yin class. So super relaxing, but she always plays, lately she's been playing a lot of music with bird sounds in it. So we kind of have stuff going on that we can kind of focus and let float by. Well, today she had this music that had all these birds, but it also had eerily melodic sounds along with some random creaking door. And the entire class, all I could think of was this sounds like the Haunted Mansion, and I love it so much. And so I told...
I'm happy that you went with a happy memory, not being oh shit, who's going to murder my ass?
Well, there was a few times where I'm this feels like a horror movie. And then I went to Haunted Mansion, and then it was horror movie, and then Haunted Mansion. And then... So at the end of it, I told her, I was I want to know what this was because it was the creepiest thing in the most wonderful way. And she's that is the most honest, real opinion ever.
So did at any point when you were supposed to be all zenned out and you were thinking that did you ever start humming in your mind at least the Grim Ghosts?
I did a few times, yeah. I was but then it was just reminded me of being in New Orleans Square. That melodic types, kind of la 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 la, but then there was this weird creaking door. One of the other girls in the class too, she's did you hear that? I was yeah. She's what was that? So
crypt doors creak.
So that was a highlight for class today.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and then so our last song that she played during Savasana, it was it had lyrics. There was a guy singing, and it was very inspirational sounding, but it was very a cool rhythm to it. It would so we had asked her about what that was. She's been trying to find. She's kind of exploring her cultural roots, and she found this guy. He's actually Somalian, and but his name is
Somalians.
No, that was bad.
I just thought of Spaceballs.
No, his name is Soulface.
Soul Face.
Soul Face, and I was like, that is amazing. So
I need to change my name.
Right? So I have followed it on Spotify so I can share it with you. Soul Face. I was very excited. So like really got a lot of music out of tonight's class.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah. So
good for you. Good for you.
That's
the other day I shaved and then I went to class, my one class, and we had a TOC, teacher on call. And I got up to help my student, and the guy goes, "Hey, why do you keep getting out of your seat?"
Really? Yeah. That was how he told you?
And then I looked at him and went, and then a couple of other students were like, because he's in this class, like, I was like, I'm an EA, dude. He's like, oh, you just look too young. Now, oddly enough, the last time I shaved, a TOC was like, "Who are you? And why in the like you're not on the attendance? I did attendance. Why? Who are you?"
You
like,
really de-age apparently when you take your beard off.
Apparently, especially that first day that I take it off.
Well, it's also you have become super more relaxed. I mean, with the hot weather, you're just wearing t-shirt and shorts. So
yeah,
I don't know what the teachers wear, but
polo-y thing.
Yeah, you're not wearing a polo. Don't ever wear polo.
I do still wear polos.
Not the same level of that though.
But not athletic. But yeah, so apparently, yeah, that was kind of a.
This is the world's hottest coffee.
It is. It's. I don't. You
we
got,
might
like,
need to be the end of the episode before.
Extra. Hey, it might actually last an episode.
I know, right?
We actually had a work party, and Justice Prime and me, we
played beer pong.
We played beer pong for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
No one else was in there. We played beer pong.
Yeah.
That was pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
I got a few like swishes, like. Whoosh.
I have never.
Didn't even bounce. So it wasn't even a bounce. It wasn't even a bounce, and I just like popped it up.
Of course, because you're magically good at any sports.
No. I wasn't that great. Jesse will tell you, because he also had a lot of like stereotypical man came out of him. I've never seen that. It was just like, he was like,
okay, wait, no. I picked them up from this. And you know what Mike says? Jesse got really competitive. He reminded me just of like you. You guys are the exact same, apparently, when you come to competition. I'm like, oh, and so then now it's because this is what he tells me is like, you go all bro on me. And that's exactly what I do.
There was a lot of that. Yeah. It was all like, because at first he scored like a few. Right. And then he was just like, what? And just like slamming shit down. And
yeah, that's exactly what I do. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then like I would miss and he would get one and he'd be like, who's the bitch now? I was like,
so that's why you kept drinking?
Reminded me of high school all over again with Scott.
Yeah.
Picks up a beer and pounds it and be like, what up, bitch? Don't be a pussy. Drink.
That's why I like hanging out with Scott so much, huh?
Yeah.
You're just surrounded by the same people.
And that's really why that aura. That's why when
Scott, Jesse, me, everything,
Yeah. You wake up sometimes and you're just like, where am I? Who are you people?
I went to a work party as well on Saturday. It was a community dinner and actually ended up drinking way more than I was anticipating and actually gotten the courage
tried to outdo me
to go. I had a little bit of that. I was like, well, he partied last night. I have to party. But I actually went up on the dance floor and everything. So that was pretty impressive. So it was a very wild and crazy weekend.
You made it rain.
Yeah. So that's why we haven't been watching things.
We've been doing other things.
Lots of other things going on, and time is just flying by.
We're already like.
I cannot believe it's almost June. Tomorrow is the last day of May.
I know.
This is insane, man.
It's no longer going to be May. Sorry.
Literally, your face turned to Justin Timberlake right then. Meme showed up.
Better than the Doc Brown hair I got going on.
I like your glorious locks.
Oh no, I'm fine. I'm going for it. I think I'm just gonna let this go. So I can have my moments to be able to run around and go 121 gigawatts.
I'm waiting for that. As an old man, that's what you're gonna do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No more.
Actually, I mean, your hair's got some really awesome floof to it now. So it's pretty rad.
Windswept. I always just look. I always have that glazed over. Probably that's why some of the kids like me. They just think I'm high.
Everyone
thinks I'm high.
You're always high.
I've always been like.
It's always been a thing.
Forever.
Yeah. Dude, why do you smoke so much weed? I don't smoke any weed.
Like Yeah, in high school, I got that quite a bit. I got that question a lot. Are you high? No, it's allergies. That's what someone on weed would say. No, it's allergies. So.
Trust me, I would prefer to be high right now instead of this shit.
My anxiety would probably be gone if I was high.
I gotta deflate my paddleboard, dude.
I'm wondering when you're going to use your paddleboard.
I have to deflate it and bring it to the lake then. I'm going to use it in July. I know that.
That's true.
I know that for sure. We notice.
We don't know this.
We don't notice. I don't know when eventually we get warm weather again on the weekend.
That's true, because it went from being like, we went from all this super hot weather and it was like really, really hot to like...
It was freezing this morning.
Yeah.
Like it was cold. I actually had the heater. I actually finally turned the heater on a little bit in the car.
Well, aren't we special? You
chose to walk.
I did choose to walk because I'm saving the environment.
Oh, nice.
But I just forgot a Coke because it was warm in the house. And when I got outside, it was pretty warm in that corridor. But once you turn down the road, it was just like, oh, my goodness. Your body starts sweating because you're so cold.
Because it's trying to figure it out.
Up. Yeah.
Like,
the furnace starts up. And you get to work and you're just like, God, I stink.
Oh, wow. Good way to start the day.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then, but it was strange because then the afternoon ended with air conditioning on in the office. It went all over the place.
So it reminds you of home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a little of everything, right? So. Yeah. But yeah, so all of that excitement.
All that aside, because I know you've been dying to know where we've been over the last month. We watched Guardians and we said this movie was too damn good to watch anything else.
Yeah. It's just like, I'm out.
Yeah.
This is the end.
Yeah. We don't need to watch any more movies.
It was just Guardians. That was all we were waiting for.
Yeah.
Right? It was.
Nothing. That's not true. We've already pre-ordered multiple movies. So
yeah, I have so many tickets already still in plans.
Speaking of which, Indiana Jones tickets are supposed to be coming available at any moment now.
How exciting. We need to do our prep work for that. So that'll be a future episode, of course.
Look at that.
In
News.
The meantime,
we did something.
The Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid. Okay, so I have talked, of course, multiple times how important Little Mermaid in animated is to me, and I know it's very important to you. So when this was announced originally, it was, oh, okay, cool, Little Mermaid. When we started seeing trailers, I think I already went off about this on here. When we started seeing trailers, I was worried because I'm not a huge fan of the shot. I'm not a fan at all of the shot-for-shot live action remakes. Yeah. If they're going to do live action, I would rather it add more depth to it that actually really felt like it added something to it. And I can appreciate that the trailer was trying to live on that nostalgia. But the more I thought about it, I was actually really irritated with it. And I thought, well, I want to watch it, but I don't think I want to pay for a theater for it. So we decided we weren't going to go to it. And then
last weekend we were going to go see Fast and Furious. We weren't going to see it, and that didn't. And that
didn't work out for time wise. So we firmly decided we are going to wait to see that at home, and then because then we can show kiddo, because I'm not going to pay for him to go and see that, and then we can laugh and maybe get high and watch it. I don't know.
But we did find out something glorious that kind of piqued my interest.
I know. And then I was like, but then there's this. So Little Mermaid came out and we were like, okay, maybe we do want to go see it because it's something to do. It was mainly because it was something to do. But we did hear some
good things from people we trust.
Of people, that we trust that got our interest peaked for it, that we're like, okay, well, I've always hated the live action and this one was absolutely amazing. We're like, okay, well, if they're saying this, then now I kind of want to know what's going on with it. So we decided we were just gonna go and see it, and we are relatively picky about our movie experiences. We'd like to go earlier in the day, less people, less everything. So with the time frames that we had, we decided to try a new theater in a town. It's the next town over.
20-minute drive.
Yeah, I know. But It was 4 hours away, worth every penny. VIP theater. So it's a 19 plus theater.
Yep. You can't be in there unless you're over 19.
So that really...
No matter what screening.
And so that really appealed to us because I would assume the Little Mermaid would bring teenagers, honestly, the teenagers are the ones I would care more about than the little kids.
Yeah, little kids usually aren't too bad. It's honestly the teenagers that sit there.
Because they give you attitude, right?
Yeah.
So we decided we would try this. Best decision ever.
Oh, totally.
That thing was amazing. Like, so there was a whole...
It ruined movies for me.
No, it ruined our theater for you.
Well, yeah.
A whole VIP lounge. So you walk in, you have to show your tickets, check IDs at the door, and there's a whole section. You don't go near the concession stand or all that other stuff.
There's a bar.
There's a whole full bar. There's a pool table. There is tables and chairs with full restaurant food they can order from.
Yep.
You have your own bathrooms. They're all separate theaters. I thought they were separate sections in the theater.
But it's, yeah.
Separate theaters completely. So there's not even the screech of a child or a teenager across the way that stays in this.
Because we had done a VIP like adult experience before in the States, but it was just an upper balcony.
Yeah.
So you could bring your booze in.
Yeah. So it was just because that
it was just higher.
Alcohol was there,
yeah.
Right? And so this had full service food and drink right at your seat.
Yeah.
Full beer in a glass. No plastic.
Not glass.
We were able to order an Impossible Burger.
So we were running behind.
We didn't know there was any food.
We didn't know because there was legit no information about the theater, about the VIP experience, other than that you have to be 19 and older.
Yeah.
So I figured that there'd be at least alcohol is probably something.
Well. Oh, pardon me. There was a Tequila Tuesdays ad, and I was like, okay, well, obviously there's alcohol there.
Yeah.
But I don't know what kind of food.
Yeah. So we were running behind, and it was the 2 o'clock's coming up, and we're like, well, we're hungry. I guess we're gonna get popcorn. So we went in there, and yeah, there was a salad option we could have gotten, and then there was a burger option, and we're just like, this is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, we could actually have real lunch. So we ordered a full burger and fries and a beer right at our table, at our chairs.
Yep.
And the seats it was like a sofa looking thing. So that there was two together. And then you had, you could remove the armrest in between. And there was like nice full cup holders within the seats, not the little flimsy one that would fall through. And it was all cushiony and soft.
Yeah.
And so much space between seats so that the servers could walk around them, right?
Yeah.
It was absolutely phenomenal.
And the theater was quiet. Like there was no...
It was one of the best experiences ever. So, riding on that, then there was the movie. I'm so happy we went and saw it. So... Quick, we'll do a 5 minute 5 minute review, 30-second review. So happy I went and saw it. I'm never going to be the one that would compare it as if it's changed. It's not going to change anything about my love for the original. To me, it improved on it. It added depth to the story in these great places. And now that I'm older and can think about some of the flaws. Not best storyline that is involved in the Disney princess movies, those flaws there get changed to the point where it doesn't change the idea of the story, it improves it and makes it much more acceptable to our changing standards and our different views on things in a very positive way.
Yeah.
And the acting was great. I'm so happy and I'm excited to watch it again.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I was really impressed because we've talked multiple times that I haven't really enjoyed a lot of the live action ones unless they've been like extremely different. Mm-hmm. This one here brought all the nostalgia because there was still a lot of shot for shot similarities, but the way this one was laid out, especially with Rob Marshall directing it, it felt a lot more like a play.
Yes.
Than a movie.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
And especially with the added songs and stuff, it was a lot more of a play feeling. And you're right in the case for the acting and stuff. Like, she did an amazing job. Haley Bailey Berry
Barry.
did a fantastic job as Ariel. But I think really surprisingly, McCarthy really stood out as Ursula because she was memorably evil versus.
Well, this is so much more than your 30-second review. Okay, go ahead.
Versus what we've seen in the past live actions.
Well, yeah. So in so many villains nowadays are
take Cruella.
Changed to be sympathized for. Yeah, you're supposed to want to be them and want to like them. I like the villains because they're villains and they're scary. And she brought it to the next level. There was not an ounce of sympathy.
Yeah,
and I'm so appreciative of that.
Yeah. So it was really enjoyable for the live actions, which was great. It was a great to experience that.
Yeah.
So with that, we're gonna dive into
then there'll be some
territory.
spoilers, not some, all spoilers, so we can talk about that. If you have to leave because you haven't gone and watched it, I would highly recommend going and watching it. If you're kind of on the fence for it, to me, it was very much worthwhile. I still got all the same, I was determined not to have the stuck on the original, but I got all the same fangirl moments of excited when certain things sounded like a certain way. Yeah. I mean, or, something, even if I knew exactly what was going to happen, there was just enough of a difference that it wasn't I didn't need to compare it to the animated, but I still had that oh yeah, this is happening. Yeah. So I'm incredibly pleasantly surprised. So go and watch it, then you can come back and listen to spoilers. But if you have to leave, thanks for joining us. And if you're continuing, let's dive into it.
Let's all go to the movies.
Let's dive into it, man.
Splish splash, I was taking a bath. On here, we'll start with a negative. Let's start with a negative.
Wow.
A spoiler and negative, and then we can go talk about the positives.
Okay.
I was not a fan of the Scuttlebutt song.
I know. You looked horrified. It wasn't even this is odd. It was, what the fuck is this?
Well, it had... Damn it, now I've got to check the box. The...
What kind of Little Mermaid review would this be if it wasn't explicit? I mean, come on. Just joking. Scuttlebutt. It
had a bit of they were trying to almost go it reminded me a bit of a Childish Gambino song at first, right? And I was like, okay, I this sounds kind of cool, but then I went full Lin-Manuel, and it was just the Disney version of him, and it was just
well, I didn't realize he was involved with it.
Yeah, and
then when I was looking at the credits, I was like, oh, that explains the song right there. Okay. Now I get it.
Yeah.
Disney, I appreciate that he has written some really good songs. I don't appreciate that we have to have the exact same style in every single movie he touches.
Right, because we're at Moana and Kanto, now this.
Yeah, just they're all the same.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just...
And just think we're going to get the live action Moana, which is the same...
Oh, God. I don't even get me started on that. I cannot believe they're making a live action of something that's so new. What the hell is that?
Because Rock's getting old.
Rock, I'm disappointed in you.
I think you already were.
I'm so disappointed into you.
Anyways, but that was the one song...
That was the weirdest portion of the whole movie.
The other songs felt... as I say, I
really like the Eric song. That gave so much meaning.
Character.
I know.
Because if you think about the original one, as much as we want to
he is nothingness.
Almost all when you think of Disney princes and stuff like that, there is that idea where there is almost the one side of this. As much as it's oh, I fall in love and I love him and blah blah blah. The badness that comes out of the princess idea, but there is also the fact that all the princes are flat in almost every movie.
Yeah,
there's very few of them that have any personality. So it was cool that they actually gave him a chance to be a being other than just just
an object of lust.
Yeah.
Well, and I really like too that he was such an amazing guy that you're like super rooting for them to figure it out.
Yeah.
That was what I saw, where it's like, there's a reason why he's looking out towards the ocean and the adventure. There's a reason for their relationship to go somewhere. So my favorite thing is that there was no wedding involved. There wasn't like we're getting married immediately. At the end, Ariel and Eric were not getting married.
Yeah.
It was an announced engagement, much more realistic. Still very fast, but at least realistic. And then we're going together and we're going to go on an adventure and we're going to go do something with him and Ariel.
Yeah.
That made me so happy because there's that happy ending without the only way to be is to get married right away.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really, really cool. So that made me very, very
totally.
happy.
Because it gives her some strength to her character.
Yes.
Of like we talked about before and we'll talk about now. The fact that when she does get in onto the island and stuff like that, when she gets her legs, she's actually exploring the island and seeing what the culture is.
Yes.
And the people, all that.
And that was my other thing is, the animated was just so much about Eric.
Yeah.
It was, okay, I like the people.
It was puberty hit. I saw me as a man. And
I need that man.
Yeah.
So, because when she got, other than, coming back to the Dingle Hopper and all that sort of stuff, like that was about it. Everything was so focused around Eric. And that's that little twist with Ursula saying that she added about forgetting about the kiss. Mm-hmm. Then that wasn't her sole focus. She wasn't sitting there focused on, I need to kiss him.
Yeah. How am I going to kiss him?
She was just fascinated with, I'm in the human world.
Yeah. And
I loved that there was an actual kingdom and a whole story. Because before it was literally Eric, Grimsby, the cook, the cleaning lady, and that was it. It's like, you have a kingdom of 4 people? What the hell? And so to see,
I love when you can like look at something you love so much, but then break it down and go, oh goodness, dear,
right? It's terrible.
Yeah.
But then that was really great to be able to see, like in the part of your world. I mean, she talks about them dancing, and then she gets to dance.
Yeah.
And I love the getting dressed, and then her deciding, oh, screw this, I'm gonna wear sandals. Like, why am I wearing these fancy shoes?
Yeah.
Like all these little things. It made me very, very happy to see all that. And that's all the improvements that I think it added so much depth to her experience. And it made you see why you wanted her to be able to become human permanently and to have that relationship. It's no different than, finding another culture that you're really fascinated in and wanting to stay there and experience it. And yeah, that just made me so happy.
Yeah.
And we actually got a location for their kingdom. Not who knows where.
Kind of tropical, kind of Frenchy.
But then still explaining why there was, why Eric was white, with him. So other issue that I take contention with is the confusion on the age.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you hear, Ursula tells Ariel that she says she's been banished for 15 years. She says, oh, you don't remember me when she sees her. So Ariel must have been incredibly young when Ursula was banished.
Yeah.
But then Grimsby tells Eric that it was 21 years ago when you came to us. Mm-hmm. But then when Eric is telling Ariel that I wasn't born into all of this, it implies that he knows something different than what he grew up as. Yeah. Because if he wasn't born into it, what are you talking about? If you had shown up when you were, say, 21 years ago, you wouldn't have known anything different. Yeah. And they never tell you how much his birthday.
Yeah. But even if you think about that, even if Ariel's 15 and he's 21, that's still a big age difference.
Well, yeah, you think about that in our nowadays, like that's not okay. So how old is Ariel? Like, are they like dog years so that they're like they age differently? I don't know.
But they're already 15 times 7.
No,
so she's
but not
like,
actual dog years.
But maybe
Maybe it was 15 years, but in her maturity, it's longer, so that's why she wasn't under. I don't know. I want to know.
But it was interesting though, because all the other sisters were off in their C's, but she was still at home with father.
Yeah, she was the youngest one still, so she hadn't been assigned to C territory yet.
Yeah,
I liked all the sisters that they were so different designs. Different ethnicities, different names than they had in them.
Yeah.
They actually had a character. You could actually wasn't the red one.
Yeah.
You know? So that was pretty cool.
It was cool they fleshed out the idea of Ursula being his sister. Because I know they'd mentioned they'd done that before in one of the directed videos. They did that, saying that they were related.
I was so waiting for a Scorn Lover. That's what I was assuming.
That made me happy that it wasn't.
Yep.
Honestly, it was because I was worried that it would be like the whole like Maleficent kind of feel like, oh, we were in love once and he threw me away for some other.
He left me for your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And or something strange. Like they could have gone really weird and been like, I'm your mother, right? And blah blah blah.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. So back on Melissa McCarthy playing Ursula so well, and again with her being a villain, I like that she was crazy.
Yep.
It wasn't just manipulative and cruel. Essentially, she was crazy. She was talking to herself. She was throwing a temper tantrum.
You can really see the isolation.
Yes.
And
she was making friends with her tentacles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was a full on the Spider-Man too.
It was like an octo. Yeah.
Yeah. Right? Where the tentacles were like their own
doing things.
Yeah.
And I really like that. Yeah, you could tell that why it was actually driving her crazy.
Yeah. Because even Flotsam and Jetsam didn't talk in this. So then but the other sea creatures, they kind of talked. So it's like, how insane had she gone?
Yeah.
And that was the thing. Like I look at this and I see how evil they made her and how well she did.
Yeah.
With Ursula. And then I look back at like how poorly Maleficent was handled.
It makes you more mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shows that they can do this.
Right. Like I want to see these live action villains be like, and that's why I think Law did such a good job with Hook, because he felt evil and he never really had redemption. You felt, oh shit, that was a sucky deal you got, but you're still evil.
Yeah.
Right. But like you look at Cruella, well, Cruella never really was evil. Like, even
it made you want to be like her.
Yeah.
A lot of
and even Emma Stone has said, well, no, like she doesn't really want to skin the puppies. Like,
yeah, you're like, no, that's the whole point of her. Right? She's supposed to be terrifying because I don't know, would they get like, protests for people, can't make her
now
that bad.
They would, because they made her a hero, right? An anti-hero, right?
So terrible.
But you think about some of those ones where they didn't really get those like staunch villain feel, and at the end of it, I still felt Ursula was the villain, and I never once felt really an ounce of like, oh, I feel so bad for her. It was.
I'm sad that she didn't get electrocuted at the end. I love that. Bet you didn't expect that. I love that scene because it's super scary in the animated when she gets stabbed and then you see all the electricity through her and she goes all like X-ray.
Yeah.
Because it's really scary. I'm kind of sad that it didn't happen, that there wasn't a big storm.
I feel
the scene was so short in all reality.
Yeah. I guess so. It kind of makes sense because like the scene's so long in the animated though.
It is.
It's like,
Well then, so, I mean, of course, another thing they changed then is that Ariel is actually the one that kills Ursula rather than Eric doing it, which I'm totally fine with because it still fits. I mean, why not being able to do it? And then it adds depth to the story of between the reconciliation between her and her dad, right? The idea that you gave up your life, I had to go and save you instead of, and then yes, Eric helped. And he was definitely right there, but it wasn't the damsel in distress. She never sat there in the bottom like, "Oh, poor me."
Yeah,
it changes the dynamic.
That really long, like
when she's shooting her everywhere, and she's just like, yeah, yeah. So, but that was the only thing. It was this little, relatively to the size of Ursula, that little tiny pinprick of a stab. She didn't even fight after that. It was just like the perfect hit. I don't know how, but but it was, so that was kind of odd that it was taken down so quickly.
They were
but at the same time, I know, right? But at the same time, it wasn't really the point of it. The point of the scene was to stand up against that, break that cycle of that, and see what at the time what was more important, right? And so there's more to it. And
in reality, I did like the fact that Ursula actually put that extra curse, though. That it was like,
that was fantastic.
that was that extra step of being evil.
Yeah.
Right. And that
I'm just setting her for failure. She can't, there's no way she can do this.
Yeah. And like, that's like the perfect villain.
Yeah.
The idea where, I'm going to give you this, but like, mwahaha.
Totally. Everything's stacked in my favor. Yeah. Right. I liked the songs Under the Sea too. I liked that they added in a bit of a, she was more involved with it, more of a duet for it.
Yeah.
And that there wasn't the crazy band playing sea creatures, because it still fit that same party vibe, but it felt, for lack of better words, more realistic.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty cool. And it was very pretty and visually appealing, but it felt, I think if they had tried to go as crazy, it would have felt very out of place.
Yeah. Yeah. Kiss the Girl had some changes in it, and I think it was kind of nice to see, because there's subtle changes. It's literally like 2 lines of change. The rest is the same.
Yeah.
And I think that was good. It was the idea of basically making sure you ask for consent.
Don't just kiss her.
Yeah.
Do what you need to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought, but it's so subtle, it's barely noticeable, which I thought was enough to work with it, because it gentlemen, it is good to ask for consent.
Not good. It's required.
Well, yeah.
You need to.
Yeah. Be a little less.
Well, okay, let's be honest. Everyone should have consent.
Yes.
But yes. I also liked that it wasn't Sebastian who just randomly whispered her name, that she actually found a way to just show that extra communication of connecting with him, listening to what he was saying, having a relatively intelligent conversation with what she wanted to do, that she wasn't just some like, oh my God, he's so pretty.
Yeah. The big eyes.
And the big eye and just like staring at him. Right. I mean, that's why he was interested, was here she is in the library looking at stuff, interested about learning. He had commented, everyone says so many things, but they don't say anything of importance.
Yeah.
And so I loved that there was actual connection on what their personalities, it was her inquisitive nature and her wanting to find new things.
Yeah.
And I also enjoyed that she was not late to a concert. I think it was simplified in the beginning. She was actually late for something really important. Like, here, all your sisters came back from their places and you decided not show up for this very critical annual meeting, basically. Like, I thought that it added more weight to it.
Yeah.
So rather than put a show on for me.
Yeah.
And why aren't you showing off?
Dance, mermaids, dance.
So, I apparently cannot say enough good things.
No, it was really good, and the changes brought more weight to it, so it didn't feel so much the same, but yet it didn't feel like it cheapened it or was, feeling too out of place with it.
I like when she was found too, that she wasn't found by Eric. That it felt more realistic the way she was found. Yeah. And that she was just brought, it showed the generosity of the kingdom itself, that they brought her in and was taking care of her before he ordered them to do so. Yeah. It was, he waited till he didn't get to be there until the very end. Idea. Yeah. So yeah.
So yeah, The Little Mermaid, it turned out to be a quite enjoyable watch. It's always good when a film can surprise you. Yeah. And then you can really find enjoyment in it when you were kind of like, I want to see it, but I don't know if I want to see it. But
well, and I can tell the more when I able to talk about it again.
Oh, the excitement in your eyes is like.
I'm not just recounting it. I'm like, oh, and then there's this. Yeah. Oh, and then there's this. And so I can always tell that really, if it wasn't just the rush of that, like, was it just the VIP theater, or did I really like the movie?
It was totally just VIP theater.
But no, back to the VIP theater though. Now it made us feel like maybe we do need to see Fast X.
Just because we want to go back to see a movie.
That. And that's legitimately something we wouldn't have to bring our son to. So, yeah. Party, pool table, and Fast X. I was telling my coworker, I was like, we decided not to stay and play pool.
Well, okay.
And then I was like, now, because we're going to plan for it. And I was like, and watch, we'll go back and we'll plan. I'm like, yeah, we're going to play pool. I'm just going to be busy.
Yeah, that's true. But it was like a Sunday afternoon, so it was super dead in there.
There was not a single other patron in there.
And the person that does the tickets was just like looking over at us. Like, it was that very like...
it'll be very clear. Everything we say will be heard.
Crack.
It'll be so loud. Like you wanted to whisper because yeah.
I felt that that's what we were doing anyways. We were like walking around feeling like we were stealing something.
I know. I felt so out of place. Like it's like an airport at midnight.
Yeah. So
but yeah, very just incredibly success.
So if you were on the fence and you listened to all of this
and
you've listened to our past podcasts about the other Disney live actions, and you'll know where we're coming from. And so it might not be something you want to wait the 60 days or whatever it is for Disney Plus. It might be something you want to take your family and go see, right?
And a lot of it too. So as I was on the fence about not wanting to support another live action like shot for shot, I did want to back to some real talk here. I did want to support their choices for their casting and stand up that I was okay with all of it against all the hate and the bigots.
Because there's a lot of it. It's sad to see.
And it's gross.
It's sad. It's
her skin color had nothing to do with the movie whatsoever. She did a phenomenal job, and that's all that matters to me.
I saw Ariel as Ariel. I didn't.
Yeah,
I wasn't.
She played the same interested, rebellious, character that she was before, and she had the same vibe with the red hair. I think her hair was beautiful. It was so fun to see under the water, and then on land it had a very cool orangey, some of it was braided and some of it was open. I thought it was beautifully done. She did a phenomenal job, and I still saw that same character. I still love the original animated. I love this version too. And I wanted to make sure that support was still there too. And I thought ultimately, even if I wasn't a huge fan of it, they're going to still keep making those live action ones. But I don't want them to back down from any of this. So I can vote with my dollar to show that I want to go and have that support. And ultimately, I'm really glad we did for both of it. Then.
Think of how that diversity will affect a child that never really gets to see that on film.
Yep.
And now they're going to see someone that's like them, and it's going to open that door to having that imagination, that curiosity. They can see themselves in it. Diversity matters, and that's it doesn't take away from anything.
It shouldn't take away from anything, right?
It adds to the catalog of culture that shows as a species we should be evolving.
Yeah. Well, there's so many different designs of people in the world. We all look so different, and I think we all deserve to show that we're all beautiful in our own ways. We all have the same opportunities. We should have those same ability to create and imagine. And yeah, you're right. I've never been able to imagine not being able to see myself in something like a Disney princess. But then when you see videos that I know had gone online, and you see these little girls talking about how, like, oh wow, that she looks like me, like, oh, she has the braids like me, or something like that, and they get so excited, and then you realize how important that is, to be able to see that, and I never even questioned it.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, it's critical, I think, and I don't think no white person can possibly complain that they can't see themselves in the world that we live in. It's just you can never say that to me, and I would never believe you that you said I don't feel represented in our world. And I think there needs to be more of that, being able to see that it's important because they haven't seen that representation for so long. But because of the color of her skin doesn't make her story that was told any less relevant to me. I can still relate to it on such an extreme level. I mean, Ariel has always spoken to me as I've grown up even too. And it's going to continue doing that no matter what she looked like, because the story is still there. And so if it can bring someone else joy, then that's amazing, right?
Well, that's the thing, is that at the end of the day, yeah, remakes and reboots do kind of suck, but they're trying to keep IPs alive. Mm-hmm. And that's how these stories continue to evolve. And these stories are timeless for a reason, because they touch upon core elements that really break away, and that's
they're all allegories, right? And I mean, that's why the story is classic, right?
Yeah, so that's why they keep them on, because there are so many characters and so many stories that die because we can't find a way to make them relevant. Mm-hmm. And ones that can find relevance in an ever-changing world are your timeless tales.
Yes.
So
one thing I know we're gonna add, this was all like serious talk, I forgot to add though how much I enjoyed the improvement for Grimsby, that he was a very positive force. He wasn't just this nagging old irritating man.
Yeah.
You know, he helped Eric. He actually really saw him. He was a guiding light, obviously a father figure to him, and really was trying to help him navigate some of those changes that he made. And I really appreciate that character was actually developed in such a positive way too. So
I was going to mention this and then I got like all deep, but here, has nothing really about the movie. It has to do about the year the movie was released.
The original or this one?
The original.
Okay.
And it ties into this year. 1989. Mm-hmm. The Little Mermaid's released. Okay. Mm-hmm. 1989. Batman is released. 1989, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is released.
Weird.
2023, Disney releases The Little Mermaid.
Keaton's back.
Keaton is Batman.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones is released. This is that moment with Jumanji. What year is it?
Holy crap. Oh, that's weird.
So.
Who planned that?
I don't think Hollywood's that
skilled.
Like,
yeah, that would have been.
But yeah,
wow, that is weird. And on that note,
next week Spider-Verse, baby.
Spider-Verse, very very excited. IMAX. We haven't been to an IMAX movie in years, so that's very exciting. So thanks for joining us, everyone, and have a wonderful day.
And remember, stay rad.